But now, it's here, baby. The name, Law Nation. And as this room fill up, be sure, and I mean just that, be sure to hit the like button, share this content, let that friend, that neighbor know where to go when it's time to tune in to Cowboys Sports Talk and beyond. This included the Ice Wall. Mama said there'll be days just like this. Cowboys OTAs, defensive tackles, DB concerns, rises. Dak Prescott shocking ranking. Ain't no party like a Cowboy party. Put a 1 in the chat if the audio is straight. Come on with it. Pull a string and I'm weak at you. I'm your puppet. Put a 2 in the chat if you miss Law Nation. Come on with it. 5, 4, 3, 2. What is your profession? And one. All right. Pause if necessary. I see you, Thomas. Appreciate you, man. Thank you, everybody, for jumping in. So the two concerns that we're going to talk about, first and foremost, defensive tackle, of course. We had a healthy debate about that last night on the Cowboys Collective. If you are new to the Cowboys, following us, be sure to check us out on multiple platforms. We pretty much everywhere, Cowboy Nation. And when you type in Cowboys Collective, you will see the face and logo of Cowboys Collective, and you'll see John Machota. Shout out to him, Foots the King, Skywalker Steel, and as well as me. But we were talking about the fact that defensive tackle, what was the major concern? Defensive tackles or defensive backs? And I hate that we have to pull each other apart with this because of the simple fact that we need both. We need both of them, right? And damn if you do, damn if you don't. We can have the ability to get Aaron Donald, get him out of retirement. You still need DBs, right? You still need – look, even Aaron Donald couldn't do it without Jalen Ramsey, you know? So you still need a DB, right? Great front sevens make better DBs. I do agree with that philosophy. But regardless of it, you still have Andre Booth. If all of a sudden Deron Bland hit his pinky toe and we still waiting on my guy Trayvon Diggs, although Diggs and Diggs have been working out together. I've been watching Diggs videos and his recovery. He got his own YouTube page, so y'all be sure to check out Trayvon Diggs. So with that being said, our two first schedules are divisional foes, right? We have Eagles week 1, Giants week 2. We should easily start off 2-0, but not to lead everything into that particular situation. They got wide receivers, whether it's Malik Neighbors for the Giants, and you know we can say this and that about the Giants, but they do have Malik Neighbors, and we do have reservations on our secondary, right? And when we start talking about the Eagles, regardless of that situation, they have A.J. Brown and Smitty, right? And they're going to run the ball, and you're going to have to figure out a way to stop the run. Now, historically speaking, what I do is I like to say give these guys an opportunity. Give them an opportunity to express themselves in a way whereas they could turn the leaf. They could be the ones that can help us out. And one of the guys that I want to bring up will be, and shout out to Cowboys.com, will be this guy right here, Solomon Thomas. You know, he may not be a one-tech guy, but, man, this dude, what he's been eating, more than he be eating the kibbles and bits. He seemed like a dog over there, right? So, down, boy. Down. And he's a 3-tech, not a 1-tech, right? So when we start thinking about all of the things that embodies the Dallas Cowboys and what they like to do, we can't dismiss who and what the Jets been doing, because in the last 2 to 3 years, they had a guy by the name of Aaron, not Rodgers, but White Cotton, not the black cotton, the white cotton over there. And in the last 2 to 3 years, they've been finishing out on top 10 defenses as it relates to stopping the run. Now, is that a principle, a philosophy? Is that a scheme? Is that something that we can all look back at and say personnel? Because we don't have a Quentin Williams, right? But we do have a Solomon Thomas that was there, right? So it's one of those things that we will have to look at and say to ourselves, okay, if we bring in Aaron Whitecotton, right, to be our guy that's going to teach these boys on how to stop the run, could it be that we are overanalyzing the fact that we need a 1-tech and dismiss the fact that if Bland hit his pinky toe, right, on the coffee table, then we're going to have to see Booth and Kyrie Elam out there? Which one would you guys would rather deal with? Now, this is right, according to the Jets, have been the top 10 rush defense in the last 2 seasons, according to the NFL New York Jets ranking, number 9 in NFL yards allowed. So when I go here and I see the Jets right here, that's cool. That's cool. And they only allow 4.1 yards on the ground. Basically, last season, the Ravens, Broncos, Packers, they've been the teams that have been allowing the least out of most of these situations here. And then when you really look at what we got to say about Matt Eberflus, he has a different philosophy, of course. Matt Eberflus' defenses, as a defensive coordinator, he's a 4-3 defensive front guy, and he emphasizes on using Tampa 2 on earlier downs, right? So what he like to do is rush 4, drop the rest, and then we have the 2 high safety looks, and these are the things that we are customarily seeking. But when we did the show last night, these are the things that we talked about.
More or less, that was kind of like Quinn, like, oh, bro, on this opening drive, could we get a stop? And I get it. So I think for me, the overarching thing is I think I kind of do got to side with Scott. I'm doing whatever I can to make sure when a team wants to run the ball, they can't. Because when we've gotten big games, teams have – I would rather get beat on big passing. Like, I'll put it to you like this, John. If a team can kill you with a – well, I would rather get beat on big passes.
Both of them are demoralizing, though. Getting beat on a big pass and getting beat on a run. I'm old enough to remember when we played against the Minnesota Vikings in the postseason. They had a guy, of course, we had a porous offensive line that year, but Jared Allen was just killing, Tony Romo in that game and whoever else he was lined up against. I think it was Doug Free or whoever it was during that time frame. But I remember vividly, we could stop the run that year, but we couldn't stop a ball that was thrown in the air if the quarterback, I think, who was the quarterback? Was it Brett Favre that year or somebody? And all he had to do was just close his eyes and said, to Allah, and he threw the ball, and it was Sidney Rice, looking like Jerry Rice, right? So what I'm saying is you got to have a balanced approach. Even if you can stop the run, which we were able to stop the run that year, it was still demoralizing of us not able to stop the passing. Who remember that year, man? I'm peeling back. I'm going all the way back to that damn game, and that horn, it still plays in my mind. That damn Vikings horn. Oh my goodness. So. Yeah, they had Sidney Rice looking like Jerry Rice. Boy, we couldn't stop no passes. I think that next year we went and drafted Mo Claiborne. It was so terrible. We knew how Mo Claiborne was. They murdered us. So I don't know, and I get it. When we start talking about stopping the run, we can go back to 2018, right? Whereas we looked like a well-balanced team. We was an opportunistic type of defense, but we couldn't stop the run because we were not physical up front. And not Todd Gurley, but C.J. Anderson ran all over us. And we did a decent job in 2021. We went into postseason, and we did a decent semi-job in 2022 against the 49ers on trying to stop the run. Well, what I'm getting at is that the opportunity still exists when we get to the postseason on which Achilles heel will it be? Will it be stopping the run? Will it be stopping the pass? And both of those things, when we go back and we really look at it, it's been both that's been killing us. It took a crazy throw in 2016 for us to lose against Green Bay, right? And Max Crosby, he can't hit water if he fell off a boat, but that game, that brother can kick anything and make it happen, right? So what I want is this team is to not fight, and I don't want the fan base to be fighting over, hey, man, we need the DB, and we don't need a defensive tackle. Or, hey, man, we need a defensive tackle, we don't need the DB. We need both of them, basically, is what I'm getting at. Why do we have to be one or the other? Why we just can't get both of them? And we sitting on $32 to $35 million. And if we really look at everything, we need to figure out, when we get to the postseason, can we generate those takeaways, those turnovers? JB says, I want us to get us a real one tech. And this is the thing. Yeah, both of them, and get Booth. Watch Booth. We're gonna beat up Booth so bad that he gonna be lights out during these OTAs and training camp. I have a funny feeling that this is gonna be a situation. But let's listen to the rest of it.
And
You might see that.
Oh, John, let me ask you this though, John. Every time a team has told us they're going to line up and punch on us, they've done it running the ball.
Exactly.
Have you seen
hurts.
White Cotton is not going to allow that. I said White Cotton is not going to allow that. All right, so let's listen to the rest of it. Not going to allow that, nor Aberflus.
But law. When a team can tell us they're going to run it down our throat and they do it, that's a tough way to lose a football game.
You don't have a way to stop. Do you know how light in the ass your defensive line is? Why would anybody go to the playoffs and say we are going to lean into the strengths of what you do, and that's your pass rush? When you have dudes who weigh 256 pounds playing defensive tackle in Solomon Thomas, right? So I say this, and I hate this because we often do this a lot where we have to pick either or, because the Cowboys could easily go fix both of these damn positions. Right. But if I'm getting to the playoffs, I'm thinking of playoff football here. If I'm getting to the playoffs, I need a way to stop the run, because if a team wants to pass, I got Micah Parsons, Dante Fowler, health permitting, Sam Williams, Solomon Thomas can go out there and rush the passer. The young buck Donovan is. I got rushers to do that, right? I don't have people to stop the run, whether that be on the interior, and we'll see about the linebackers. I do like Sanborn, but we've seen it over and over again. And John's right; it's under Dan Quinn. But just look around the league, not just Dan Quinn. Look around the league when teams get to the playoffs. They are a more balanced team. They're a team that, like you talked about, hey, man, this Ben Johnson, he wants to get cute and stuff. No, they're trying not to get cute. They're trying to be balanced. They're trying to sit on the rock and et cetera, et cetera. And when you go line up and you play the Cowboys and you see that front seven, I don't give a damn who your defensive coordinator is. At the end of the day, it's mass on mass. It's big bodies on big bodies. And if I can move you out the way, I don't care what your scheme is, because if you want to put 9 people in the box, pow, right over the top. You need to get better up front, man.
So who are you putting Andrew Booth on?
John was saving that bullet, and that's in the event. That's in the event if Bland is out and another DB is out. Then who you putting Booth on? All right, so I get both sides of the argument. I literally get both sides of the argument. Like, pick your poison. Like, who you really going to stop with Booth, and who you really going to stop with the other sides of it, with Jay Toya and as well as with Mozzie. Mozzie going into his third season. A lot of people want to throw the baby out with the bathwater with Mozzie. A lot of people don't want to see. Like, I don't want Mozzie. I don't care if it takes 3 years. It literally took Dexter Lawrence 3 years before we saw him blossom, right? But people will cut the spleen off now. Give me Sexy Dexy, give me Dexter Lawrence. It literally took Justin Madubuike 3 years, and even though he's played more of a 3-tech one, but it takes time. And what we're looking at, even with Mozzie, is that it's going to take even longer of a time because we done invented a situation whereas this is his third defensive coordinator in 3 years, right? And a lot of people will say, hey, man, I don't give a dog. We need some production. But we also need to understand that one-techs are very hard to find. Teams are not letting them go. Unless, you do some type of trade acquisition. So what we did here is that we have to marry the fact that Aaron Whitecotton, who literally got these boys, Quentin Williams and Solomon Thomas. Solomon Thomas was considered a bust before he got over to the Jets, and one can argue and still say, hey, that guy with all of the muscles, he's still a bust. Law, he haven't changed. He's trash, man, and I get that. But when you look at the argument on both sides of it, his production is what most people were saying that they want Jonathan Allen for, right? His production is mirroring what Jonathan Allen did in the last 2 seasons. And it can be neither here nor there because of Jonathan Allen being injury, but your best ability is your availability. And for the last 2 seasons, he had 4 sacks and he had 6 sacks. So we haven't had that production in-house here. And he's now your backup rotational guy that comes in after Osa. So now let that sink into your mental mindset, right? And the other situation that we have to look at is the growth aspect of it. When we start to think of Mozzie, we could talk about, hey, the guy got slow get off, he's not this, he's not that. But when I look at Mozzie from an aspect of going into his third season, and you have Jay behind him, who knows? He's a first-round draft pick for the Cowboys. I'm not saying that we want to say that this guy's bust because so many people want to have the need to be right so bad that they want to say this guy's trash because he went to Michigan. They want to say he's trash because they may have wanted someone else instead of Mozzie when that pick was here, right? And they want to say he's trash because of X, Y, and Z things, but when you look up his numbers and you compare them to like a Jordan Davis, they damn near mirroring each other. And Jordan Davis wasn't and I'm talking about the Eagles. I know a lot of people going to think about, hey, when you really think about what they had Milton who come in and rotate Jordan Davis. Who was our rotation guy after the fact that we got rid of Hankins last year? Hankins didn't come back to return. So what I'm getting at is that we got new philosophy, new coaching. These guys don't have the same principles of what the Washington team like to do. And they are a little bit better. Even to a degree, if I were to ask you guys, who were the front 4 or the front 5 or the front 7, I meant to say, for the Chicago Bears last season? Who were they? Who were the front 7? All I can see is their defense still finished out way above ours. And one can argue that our front 7 is better than the damn Bears right now, So and this is Matt Eberflus' team. But if I'm gonna ask you guys, before we hit on that sheet. Who was the front seven of the Chicago Bears? Like, who would you swap out? Who's the Michael Parsons there? Or like, who's the Donovan Ezeraku? Who is the Marshawn Nealon there in Bears country? Who is Sam Williams? Who is the quote-unquote Osa for the Bears? I need to know. I want to know. I need to figure that out for you guys, because they still finished out top 15 in defense last year. And you can't probably name me none of the guys. So what I'm saying is that give this coaching staff a shot at it. And I'm not saying not to look at defensive tackle. I'm not saying don't look at defensive backs. But 9 times out of 10, if you got on one side Aaron Whitecotton, who in the last 2 to 3 years when he was with the Jets, they finished out in top 10 defenses as it relates to stopping the run. And then on the other side, even with Matt Eberflus, we can say X, Y, and Z things about Matt Eberflus and his overall team thing, but that he's in his coaching bag. So if I'm to do any type of prediction, right, I would say that the Cowboys, just based off of the roster that we have now, we for damn sure will not be where we were at last year. And we for doggone for sure, Washington, let me see what the Washington football team, let's see where they at. We for dog sure won't be down here in this area. The 29th ranked defense. As terrible as the Cowboys defense was last season, if I pull this up, we still finished out better than the Washington team. And we knew the slew of injuries that we had, right? And the Washington team's supposed to have a better front seven, supposedly. Let me pull up the Cowboys. And we know how bad our defense was. And on top of that, we had broken parts and broken pieces. We were using duct tape and scotch tape to hold our defense up together, and we finished 28. So what I'm getting at, ladies and gentlemen, health is a major thing that we have to consider here in Cowboys land, of course, but I'm leaning on the fact that we may be doing much to do about nothing. And here's the other thing too. As far as up to speed wise and transitioning wise, defensive back is a more difficult position to learn and play in the National Football League than there is one tech. And as a one tech guy, and I'm not beating up big boys that got strength, they can move and play along the LOS and all of this stuff. If we wanting to solidify that role at one tech, you will have a better chance of just waiting until after training camp get to moving and grooving, and it will behoove you to get in a DB in this room earlier opposed to later, because you would want that DB to go up against your wide receivers, to go up against the fact that you got different strategies and you want to see if whether or not this guy can be moved to special teams, etc. It is easier to pick up the phone and say, hey, we're going to call this guy 2 weeks before preseason starts to bring him in as a veteran defensive tackle. And most veteran defensive tackles don't want to go through the rigmarole of early training camp anyway. These big boys that we're not asking them to do 60 snaps, 60 reps. We asking them to do, 10 to 15? Yeah, 20 at the most, because you still got to give Mozzie tick and you still got to get Jay tick. That's just how that flows. I love the trolls who does things. Shout out to all of the trolls that's trolling. Appreciate you, Sean. Thank you for your support. Also, speaking of that, I have to give Kyrie Elam a little love and adulations too. He states that since he's been here, the coaching staff make him feel like they care. He loved the energy here and beyond. Those things that I look at too from this part of it, recruitment, right? If you are a free agent and you are a veteran guy and you hearing the news that this is good rapport, these are good vibes, good feelings here, then 9 times out of 10, you might get that call. You might get a situation in a scenario that there's someone else say, hey, I'd like to see what they got, and I'll go for a little lesser, to come over here to play for the Cowboys. You can get that going as well. All right. But I just wanted to point that out, Cowboy Nation. And I also wanted to tell y'all, man, this dude looking like like an incredible Hulk over here. Let me see if I can pull this up. This is crazy. He's insanely. Yeah. Kyer Elam, or Kyer. If I say Kyer or Kyrie, however, he gonna turn his head and look, But he know who I'm talking about. Elam, But here's what I'm looking at right here. This guy right here, I know somebody gonna say like build like Tarzan, play like Jan, I get all of that. But we will see, man. Hey, and he got to understand too that they may call him in and get that blood sample to make sure he ain't taking them roids,
And they understand the cost that is involved.
Yeah. He better watch out. He better watch out tremendously. With all of that, shout out to y'all, man. Thank you, Solomon Prescott. Well, we need Solomon Temple over here. All of the wisdoms and the understandings of things, because this right here, Cowboy Nation. When I'm looking at this team, I don't think that we are so far off that most people think. We won 7 games last year, and we know the depths of the injuries that we had to overcome, right? And we know it wasn't an easy road at all. And like Bet USA, appreciate them, partners on the Cowboys Collective. They literally have a 7.5 over or under. Take the over. Take the over, y'all. This like literally you could come out of this thing.
Take the money out, all of it.
Yeah. Shoot, that's literally that, and for what it is, just take. Here's how the NFL work. Thomas Johnson says, "Come on, Lord, don't jinx us. You don't jinx us." Regardless of it, if everybody get hurt once again like last year, then we have better draft picks. If everybody don't get hurt, we go into the postseason winning multiple games. That's just how it goes. And I wish I can control the destiny of things, but hey, the Creator does that. So the jinx aspect of it, I can't control it, right? I can't control it. What we hope that everything can run its course, but at the end of the day, I know that if everyone is healthy, then we are a better team. It's just the bottom line. But only a person that don't have those interests at heart, they would look at it differently. Here's what I want to say before we can start moving along this way. If it don't smell good, you're going to have to wash it off, rinse it, and be clean with it, and put a little of this on it. Let's talk about control. And first and foremost, I'm talking about control body odor, and that's anywhere. And all you have to do is shop.mando and get $5 off of your starter pack, and that's over 40% with promo code LAW, shopmando.com. Let's go. I use this body wash, odor control, full body control with Mando. They have the product here, and they also have deodorant that you apply under the arm for 72 hours of odor control. You want to be in control. And speaking of control, they also have the product that you can apply all over the body, the invisible cream, and it also fights for 72 hours. Look, it's all about being in control. And with Mando, man, they control body odor anywhere. All you have to do is shop.mando, get $5 off your starter pack. That's over 40% with promo code LAW, shopmando.com. Let's go, and let's stay in control of your odor. I love it.
Let's go, man. Let's go.
Let's go, man. Appreciate y'all. And be sure to check out Mando. The information is in the description box. Get 40% off of your starter pack, man. And be sure to check it out by using promo code LAW. One of the things that I've been really wanting to happen and to see here would be a guy by the name of Tyler Guyton. I get it. It is easier to poke fun of and make fun of him, right? Because of the fact that he was a first-round draft pick, that a lot of people kind of pretty much looked at it and said, man, let's go get a weapon. Let's go get this and that. And he was the first-round draft pick the year before, right? And I ain't talking about Tyler Booker. I'm talking about Guyton at this point. I think that if anything can work out well for us, would be Tyler Guyton in this particular system and scheme by him doing more GT counters, by them doing more pulls, traps, them putting him in motion. One of the things that I have to bring up is what Big Nate Newton said. He checked in with the mental mindset out, right? Because he checked in with his feet work done, right? Really good. He checked in to a degree with his hand placement. He said they were phenomenal. And he said that there was only one area that he had issues with Tyler, and that was his mind. And when I'm talking about minds and stuff like that, we got to understand that Cowboys, it takes time. Left tackles just don't come into the league and start to walk on water. They don't do those things. It's a difficult spot to be at, and it is a growing pain that you have to go through. You can't really think that this left tackle was going to come here and perform amazingly, right? So, but especially under Mike Solari's system, especially under his system. So what I'm getting at, Cowboy Nation, is that I want Tyler Guyton to continue to improve. And if the best way, he's by far, believe it or not, he is the biggest offensive lineman that's on our team right now. He stands over Tyler Smith, showering over him, right? So, and towering over him, showering is a little Diddy-ish. No Diddy or no Cassie. No offense to anyone that likes to have golden showers. But what I'm getting at, and trust me, I ain't trying to be insensitive to the situation right there, but there's been court documents that, Cassie asked for the golden showers. I had to put that out there. But Guyton will be fine, like my guy Ace Boogie said. He will be fine. It's just that we got to stop being knee-jerky and say, off with the man. Let's move him. Like we're going to waste all of that year of us winning 7 games last year. How many games we won? 7 games last year of us looking like dog water to put them in another spot? Come on with it, man. Shoot. Hey, at the end of the day, I need NEED for this guy to come to practice and still show up. And it starts with us of giving him warm loves and adulations, baby. That's all I'm saying. Y'all crazy sea bass. I'm not finna read that. But wait a minute. Diddy plus lotion plus more lotion equals, oh my God.
It's an evil world we live in.
Yeah, y'all crazy, man. You guys are crazy. Y'all are dog crazy. All right, so expectations. When expectations meets the reality of it, and the reality of it is that the Cowboys, Dak Prescott, let's talk about this, and by him being ranked 17th in the National Football League amongst everyone according to PFF. I talked about this, I believe, the other day, right? And a lot of people, they said, hey, man, it's disrespectful, man, for Dak Prescott to be 17. There's no 16 other quarterbacks better than him. It states here, Cowboys, Dak Prescott ranked amongst the top tier QBs entering in 2024, right? So this was the last season when before all of the injuries and everything, and people were pretty much saying, okay, he's too high even then, right, when he was within the top 10. But now, as the tables turn, now Dak Prescott is in these things as it relates to PFF. These guys got to make money, right? So they know how to plant a seed in the ground, right, or plant a clickbait in the ground to get people to see what kind of tree that's going to be. The quarterback rankings, all 32 starters ahead of the 2025 season, okay? Number 1, of course, is Pat Money Mahomes, okay? Number 2 is Joe Burrows, okay? So they say they got these tiers. Elite tier, tier 1, elite. Pat Mahomes, he didn't look like Mahomes in that damn Super Bowl, didn't he? Did Pat Mahomes look like Pat Mahomes? Did he look like a tier 1 elite player? Y'all let me know. Put a yes or a no in the chat, because I like these doggone arguments. Did Pat Mahomes look like a tier 1 elite quarterback in that game versus the Philadelphia Eagles? Did he look like elite? You know. So I just want to know how you guys are. Y'all basing Pat Mahomes' career off a total body of works, or do you just base it off of one game? Now imagine Pat Mahomes in his entirety of his career without weapons and without the ability to protect him up front. Where would y'all place him? Oh, y'all probably place him at 17. Okay. He was in the Super Bowl. Yeah, action power, boy. Wait a minute. Action. Is Joe Burrows better than Pat Mahomes? Joe Burrows would have figured it out. Well, let me see. Action. Let me know, because I know how you feel about Joe Burrows, boy. Yeah. Joe Burrows wouldn't have looked like that, but Pat Mahomes did, huh? No, that get blamed for his defenses. Pat Mahomes gets celebrated off of his. Yeah. No, he looked, and this wasn't. Hey, action pals. To be fair to all of football, that wasn't the first time we saw Pat Mahomes look like that in the Super Bowl. Because there was another team named Tampa Bay Buccaneers that made Pat Mahomes look the exact same way he looked in his last Super Bowl. Let me know if I'm lying. He couldn't move the ball down there against Tampa Bay. And I heard it all. I heard that, hey, he need to have weapons up front. He need to have better defense. He need to have this and that. So if a guy that's great at all that he does, right? If he's great at all that he does, why do he needs offensive line? Why do he needs outside weapons? Why do he needs a better defense? Because, hold on, let me pull this up. Let me go to PFF. And go PFF. Let me go here. Let me put in the Chiefs. Let me see where they at. Let me see where they at last year. Damn. Don't y'all know that since Ford been in the league, we never had this right here, bro. We never had the number 2 defense in the National Football League. We never, Oh my God! But hey, this game is not a team sport, Oh my gosh! But hey, it is for what it is. They had the number in my mind's. So all of a sudden, people like to selectively say that on one end, it's an individual sport, but then on the other end, people can benefit from other things and it being a team sport, because defense, all I heard for all I've been saying is defense win championships and these sorts of things. But man, y'all don't want to hear me out though. That's okay. And they got the number 2 defense. And let me see who had number 1 defense. Hold on, let me pull this up over here. Let me see. Hold on, let me. Four boys. Okay, hold on. I typed in PFF wrongly. Okay, boom. Let me pull it up. Okay. All right, and let me pull in the Eagles. Let me see where their defense was ranking at. Okay. Oh my goodness. Oh, Sheila. They had a number 1 defense. So I wonder, like Stephen wonder, if we ever had those type of things, I wonder where our quarterback will be ranked. I just wonder if you give your quarterback a shorter field and more opportunity. I just don't know, man. Come on with it. Yeah, I'm just messing with y'all. Y'all know I'm just messing with y'all. Joe Burrow's number 2, right? 93.5 passer rating, 95.2 overall grade, 51.3 success rate over a span of ties, and they put that in Josh Allen's second best in the league, okay? And then Lamar Jackson, Lamar Jackson, can y'all let me know where his defense is ranked at too? I just want to know as well, And the good thing about Joe Burrows, I wonder how many games of him throwing the ball were there without a T. Higgins, a Jamar Chase, and all of these things. But, hey, it is for what it is. Come on with it. Yeah. But these top 3 tier 1 elite players, 2 out of the 3 have good defenses, and the other one got a Jamar Chase and a T. Higgins. Not to take that away from him, but boy, this will mean something differently. I wish sometimes that all we can say is, hey, man, the offensive line is bad. But who you throwing it to? Jerry Rice and Michael Irvin? Hey, man, I wish that was all problems then. But it is for what it is, man. Oh, buddy, let me leave Joe Burrows alone. And then Joshua Allen, the MVP, 95.4 overall grade, and he's in his tier 1. And then you got to look at tier 2s. They have Hurts, Jaden Daniels. He's already a tier 2 quarterback. Oh my goodness. And shout out to Jaden Daniels, Matthew Stafford, who having struggles beating us, by the way, but shout out to Matthew Stafford, and Justin Herbert, who this was his first year pretty much having a balanced type of a situation. They gave him run game. Shout out to Herb. I think that Justin Herbert on this list of tier 2s is a situation, whereas if you can explain it, I get it. But he haven't been turning nobody heads over here in any type of way. There's no game that you can recall and say, man, that damn Herb, man, shoot, he the one right there. Oh, man, it hurt. But, neither here nor there. All right, golf, tier 3. Geno Smith, he's a tier 3 guy. Brock Purdy. The craziest thing of it all is that Brock Purdy, did he finish this past season? Did he play every game? I just need to know. Because with those set of circumstances, even though majority of his people, they was hurt left and right, I see that they giving Brock Purdy a major league pass because of the simple fact that he's Brock Purdy. Because these set of rules don't equip to us, because when the Cowboys have injuries and the quarterback is still healthy, he still got to win at all costs. It doesn't matter if the O-line is hurt. It doesn't matter if you only have one wide receiver. It doesn't matter if your defensive team is not even ranked top 10. You still had to perform here in Cowboys land, but that's a whole nother storyline. All right, so the tier 3 quarterbacks, Jordan Love, Baker Mayfield, and as well as C.J. Stroud, who people are anointing. C.J. Stroud was last year's Jaden Daniels, right? So, but now all of a sudden, just off of 1 year, he went from tier 1 to tier 2 to tier 3 based off of 1 year. People were ready to say that C.J. Stroud was going to be up there with Pat Mahomes and Joe Burrows and all of those boys, but that's a whole nother conversation. Yeah. Kyler Murray, who I believe did Kyler Murray play every game last year? Wasn't he hurt, or wasn't he play? Murray finally stayed healthy. And you mean to tell me that he stayed healthy and he's still in this tier? But our quarterback was hurt, and he's in the same tier with these guys that was healthy. That's crazy. Oh, my God. And then Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, Chris Collinsworth, lost child, with the long hair. Trevor Lawrence, boy, the biggest wild card of the year. Now, here's what I'm going to say with Law. And I like Trevor Law. I like him. At one point in time, he was just equivalents of a Burrows to a lot of people. He's blessed. They literally, if Trevor Lawrence don't become a tier 1 quarterback this year, then he's lost at all costs. He got 2 wide receivers. He got run game. They got a decent defense. Trevor Lawrence, they setting him up just like they did for Burrows. We got a super chat.
Jeff Gagne, $5.
Gagne.
Let's be real both ways. Would I switch Doc for Patty, Burrow, Allen? Yes. More consistent. For Herbert, Purdy, Geno, T-Law, Goff? No. Doc is 10-ish.
All right, so let me flip it back on you, Jeff. When have you ever seen Burrow throw it to a Noah Brown, a T.Y. Hilton? Let me know when you ever seen him play under those circumstances and conditionings of having the media spotlight to twist every narrative to be held checked and accountable of the latest quarterbacks that's been on your team, like the Tony Romos, Troy Aikman, and Roger Staubach. I think that in their franchise history, Burrows is nice. He's nice. He was pretty much healthy all last year, right? He had a healthy 2 wide receivers and run game. And did they make the postseason? Because he is held under a different umbrella. And let me see this. And let me pull up this right quick. Let me pull up Bengals. Let me see the Bengals. Let me put up Bengals. Let me see. Did they defense finish above the Cowboy defense? Did they have a better defense than the Cowboys or worse defense? Let me see. Oh, they had a better defense than the Cowboys. And they still did they make the postseason? I don't know. They 9-8. So I'm just trying to figure things out, that you got the greatest quarterback to ever live the lands, and he can't take his team. He's an 8-8 guy, because if it wasn't for the extra game, he'd be 8-8. You know what I'm saying? And Burrows, he's nice, but somehow he get a pass for every little thing that he do. And I can't make this stuff up. Now, as far as Pat Mahomes, when we start to think about what Pat Mahomes need and what he don't got and what he do have and what he's blessed with, he went to a team that finished 11-5, right? So he went to a team, Andy Reid, that already had a system in place, that they already knew what they wanted to do. And we had a situation where we had Jason Garrett, who couldn't fight himself out of a wet paper bag. It's crazy, right? But I get it. Most people would say, yeah, let me switch it around. But we moving furniture around on the Titanic. If that's the case, because of the simple fact, you got coaching here that was terrible. Put it like this, to get off of that conversational piece, to say to y'all, hey, Law, what are you meaning? What are you saying? I'm old enough to remember, even in Aaron Rodgers' youthful years, right, that they had the same coach that we had last season and the season before that and the season before that, and he couldn't even win with a prime Aaron Rodgers. I wonder why. It took him, he won it in 2010, and that's it. So how come we couldn't win with that same coach? Maybe the coach ain't that good. That's just for what it is. Our bloodline claimed us, our mothers, our sisters. Man, come on, Eric. Oh, Eric, man, what you doing, man? They still calling you Zesty over here. But Jason Bourne says, Law, I don't agree with the rankings, but the analysis is actually pretty spot on. He doesn't beat top-tier talent consistently. How do we know? when we start talking about top tier talent, with what weapons, with what system, with what philosophies. Because if we were to just take this all down to the grassroots of things, if we were to say that they did a poll on, I believe, teams that won with less than one score, and if you were to change that one score around, the Chiefs wouldn't have even made it to the postseason last year. But the difference maker wasn't even Pat Mahomes. I'm talking about Pat Mahomes, who is one of the greater quarterbacks we've seen. You know what the difference maker was? Not Pat Mahomes. It was the defense. And that's why they had the second-ranked defense. So it's crazy how all of this stuff can look like. You know, Law, his record against team over 500 is bad, brother. But did you know, Jason Bourne, that most quarterbacks have a below record over 500 wins? You know, did you know that stat, Jason Barnes? I think that people are so laser on one team that they miss the meat worrying about the potatoes. Most quarterbacks outside of the time of Tom Brady and one other quarterback, I believe it could be Pat Mahomes, by the way, that their records on teams above 500 are below 500. It's crazy. But here's the thing, though. The quarterbacks that you're naming, answer me this, though, JB. Do they have a better coach? Yes or no? Do they have better defenses? Yes or no? Answer me those questionings, you know, because at the end of the day, they still had better. And then Toxic Tom, he would let y'all know for the simple fact that, hey, they have better ownerships and better ways of handling free agencies and beyond. We are expecting to win with James Washington and them, whereas other teams are expected to win with actual players. And these are the fights and the struggles that we go up against. Because even though when we start to look at all of these things, you guys have the ability to make more excuses for other teams than you have to bring up the facts for your own team, which is crazy. Yeah, Green Bay had better coaching. I'm talking about during the time. So are you arguing, and we're talking about from 2010 until now, are you arguing that Jason Garrett is a better coach than Mike McCarthy? Is that your argument? Are you arguing that even though we know the limitations of our team, that you are saying that the reason why the Cowboys couldn't get over the hump is because of Tony Romo and Dak Prescott? Or is it more than likely that we couldn't get over the hump because of the pieces that we had? Let me know in the chat, because I need to figure these things out. And are you guys arguing that Andy Reid is not a better coach than Jason Garrett and Mike McCarthy, that the last two coaches that we had is that the principles of the argument? You know, come on, I just need to figure it out, you know, because at the end of the day, we know our limitations. We know that this been a one-dimensional team. The only time that we did had any respect of the run was in 2016, of course, right? 2015, we were third ranked in rushing, but we didn't have no quarterback. In 2014, yes, we had a prehistoric, archaic way of playing football, but we were playing football to a degree that we took the ball away from Tony Romo and ran the ball. And is that what we're saying? We got the best coaches right now, Law. Well, it's subject to be seen. We don't know. You know, Reed ate the cheeseburgers. Now LaFleur, you saying is better than Mike McCarthy? We don't. I'll say this though. LaFleur, to a degree, he's been choking just as bad as Mike McCarthy, because he himself, what's his name, Matt LaFleur, didn't Aaron Rodgers win back-to-back MVPs, right? 13-4. And I believe he won back-to-back MVPs. And what people would do is they will rag us out. They will spit upon us, cast aspersions on us, right? And give Aaron Rodgers a pass. because he was one and done, even with he won back-to-back MVPs. And that's with the same with Mike McCarthy and the same with Matt LaFleur, if I'm not mistaken. Let me know if I'm wrong. But if the Cowboys were to do the same thing, oh my God, it would have been a no-end, ongoing Cowboys choke in the postseason. But all of a sudden, Green Bay does it. They beat us, and then they lose the next week. This is happening all the time. Zeke was two-time rushing champ, not just in 2016. Well, he was robbed in 2017, right? And then in 2018, he was the quote-unquote rushing champ. But that was the only other weapon that we had. And that year, we can't blame Zeke because Zeke was the guy that was led. He was our reception leader in 2018. After doing all of that, what the Cowboys did, instead of building around it, they chopped it down. And they said the following year, instead of paying the quarterback, they went through the whole rigmarole of Zeke, who's old enough to remember that. Those are things that you don't build upon. These are things that even when it was time to pay, after they paid Ezekiel Elliott, keep in mind, they paid Jalen Smith that year too. Keep in mind, Jerry Jones out of his own mouth said, hey man, we still learning. He said that we are still learning. And the same thing that's coming off of a successful year, instead of putting things around, believe it or not, Jason Garrett, they let him go into a lame duck year in 2019. These may sound like excuses, but these are facts that you guys don't want to hear. There's nobody that's watching this video that will opt in and say, hey, I would rather have a temp job. I would rather have a job that I don't have the foreseeable future for 2025, for 2026, and I want to go into a job whereas I don't know if I'm going to lift when I open up my eyes that either I'm going to have a pink slip or I'm going to hit the door. And that's what the Cowboys did in 2019, and that is exactly what we just did in 2024. You don't win that way. If you go through the historical data, yeah, Jalen Smith is a Raider now. If you go through the historical data, you probably can say to yourself, out of all of the coaches that ever coached this game, none of them that made it to a lame duck year been successful, because when you are a coaching staff, it's not just you. You got to be responsible for your tight end coach. You got to be responsible for your linebackers coach. You got to be responsible for your running back coach. And these people don't want to be walking around looking over the shoulder saying, hey, will I be here next year? Will I be here in 4 months? Will I be here in 5 months? So we had the expectations of winning it all. Put it like this. For anybody that wanted to challenge me and debate me on that, y'all can do the research yourself. And even it don't even have to be football. It can be any sport. It can be any job. You don't want to go into a situation where your back is against the wall and you don't have the foreseeable future for you to implement your game plan. It's just what it is. But keep that in mind. And when we look at these tiers of quarterbacks, let me just look at these tiers of quarterbacks. And for us to go through these type of situations, did Pat Mahomes have those problems? Nope. Did Joe Burrows have that problem? Nope. Do Lamar Jackson over there, did they have those problems? Coaches going into a lame duck year? Nope. Joshua Allen, was his coach going into a lame duck year? Nope. Hurts? Nope. Jaden Daniels, well, we put an outlier because he was a rookie last year. We don't know. Stafford? Nope. Herb, well, nope, that's first-time coach. Golf, nope. None of these people had these type of things that they had to overcome. None of them. But the Cowboys, by far, had more manure to go through just to get to where we at. It's crazy, y'all. Yeah, it's crazy. So we fight. As they say, we wrestle not against what flesh and blood. We wrestle against higher powers and stuff. That's what we doing over here in Cowboys land. It's crazy. But out of all of those teams that I just mentioned, the expectations of winning the Super Bowl every year is higher on the Cowboys than any of those teams. Matter of fact, the expectation to win the Super Bowl this year is higher for the Cowboys than the Eagles, Chiefs, and any of those teams on that list still. Nobody had those type of circumstances. But to be fair to everything, if you're driving and you're hearing this conversation and you fool around and look to your left and look to your right, and then somebody jumped the curb and they hit you, you need to call these folks.
It starts from the first phone call. Most of the time, you're going to talk to Gene Burkett, a 30-year partner. You're not going to talk to some employee that just got put on the phones that day.
There are things that are so crucial, especially if it's a cataclysmic event, to have our experts get out and look at the vehicle, witness statements, photos, the whole thing.
Call Frenkel first.
Chosen by the people, feared by the insurance companies. Call Frenkel first.
It's an evil world we live in.
Call my phone, hit my line, only ones who down for.
That's Frenkel and Frenkel Personal Injury Lawyers. Happy Friday to you all. That is 214 or 817. And all of the threes you can dial. Someone will be able to take great care of you, not advantages of you. Send your information over. Let's see what we can do to get things grinding and going in the best way possible. And if you can't dial that number, be sure to reach out to FrenkelFirm.com. Put in your claim, put in your information if it's real, and someone will attempt to reach back out to you. They're located here in the heart of Dallas. And Dallas is a big, big city. Over 9,000 individual moves here to this city of Dallas a month. So that's a lot of folks, man. So y'all be sure to reach out to Frenkel and Frenkel Personal Injury Lawyers. All right, so the hotline for your mind is 657-390-7391. That's the hotline for your mind on this beautiful Friday. I got my guy from the 201 100 grand. What's the plan? What's good with you, man?
What's good, my guy?
What's good, man?
Bro?
What's going on, man? What's going on, man? What's going on?
I'm good, man.
You see me defending the star over here, protector of the star, you know?
Yeah, man. I see you defending the star, man.
I'm defending, man. I'm defending, man. I'm defending, man. You know, it's what it is.
I get it, man. You gotta do that. You gotta do that, bro. You know.
Yeah.
I don't appreciate the subtle jabs on Instagram by you, man. I don't appreciate that.
And you see me right here, man. You know, if you can look at the screen right now, you know, I said, God, dog, boy, Pacers, boy.
I don't appreciate that, man. You feel me? I'm about to hit you for bullying on Instagram. I'm about to report you for bullying.
Wait a minute.
You know what I'm saying? I don't understand.
What's going on with the Knicks, man? You know,
it's too low, man. You hitting below the belt, man.
Whoa.
We had that game, bro. We had that game, man. It's hurt, bro.
I know,
oh, man. That shot? Come on, bro.
Hey, you better be lucky than good sometimes, man. You know what I'm saying? It's better to be lucky than good, bro. What else you got, man? You coming back tonight? Okay, that's what I'm ready.
It's revenge. Looking for revenge. Tonight.
Well, what kind of revenge you looking for? Remy Ma revenge or Papoose around this boy?
Reddit. Run from it.
Is it Remy Ma revenge? Tory Lanez? What kind of revenge we looking for, man?
Shit. Remy Ma here. Wow, man. She's going in, boy. She said, ain't nothing like a woman scorned. All the gloves is off.
Well, she ain't going to fight his woman, though. Shit. Hold on, Mitch Romans with a super chat. Appreciate
Mitch
you.
Roman, $5. Law Nation protector of the star.
Protector and the defender of the star. You know what I'm saying? I told him when it's time for me to go to the afterlife, you better put a star on my tombstone. If not, I'm hunting everyone. Yeah.
But I bet y'all didn't know. Y'all didn't know that Terry McLaurin, the swim leaper is what they call him, holding out.
Oh, he holding up. Ain't nobody.
Ain't nobody talk about nothing. Only person out here talking about it is Louis T. That's it.
Oh man, so they make the 3-letter, the 4-letter network.
Oh.
I ain't no scary. So he's scary Terry.
Yeah. Y'all want to talk about Mike as a leader?
Shame.
But you know what?
Why is Micah holding now? He ain't a leader. Blah 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 blah.
I like this. I like this because you know what? If and don't the damn Washington team got a lot of money? Let me pull up they got a lot of money. Wait a minute, they got the magic money, man. Hold on over here, man. Let me go over the cap. They got money. They got money. They should be able to pay Scary Terry. What he want? What he want? What?
I don't know what he wants.
No. They got 22 million. We got more money than them. We got 31. Yeah.
That's still enough to pay him. Come on, Law.
Yeah, they got enough money to pay.
$22 million. He ain't gonna be $22 million against the cap.
Yeah.
No.
So
he's not.
So you know what happened? And I love this. You know, I was trying to get my brother Twin Maker to do the same thing. You know why? Because you know all of the people when Twin were like, Brock Purdy is better than Dak. I said, okay, you're gonna have to pay him now. And then all of a sudden, when it got down to paying him, the Twin was like, "Hey, wait a minute now. I don't know, man. You need to give Sam Darnold money." You know.
They gave him 53 though, and what they saying? What they saying? He took 53. Oh, he ain't take what he took less.
No, man.
He's a player for the team. That's what they are.
It's not. People look at the APY and they need to look at the guarantees, man.
Right.
Look, if I'm telling you 100 grand, you're getting $250 million. $250 million is $250 million. You know what I'm saying? That's just for what it is, man. People get all hooked up on this APY and all of this stuff. And at the end of the day, it's the guaranteed money. What's the guaranteed money? What's the overall contract? It don't really matter what the APY and the length of the year of the contract. Those are two different things, but you know that's a whole nother conversation. But what I want to know is, for all of the Washington people that said that Scary Terry is better than CD Lamb, now it's time to pay him better. Then pay him better. Yeah. Pay him better. Give him that CD Lamb money. Give it to him. I hope he hold out till he get it too. Yeah.
But you know what? They in a conundrum because they can't. And don't they gotta pay Debo?
Yeah, I think they had to restructure.
They in trouble. Oh, they already did that already.
Yeah, they supposed to restructure. I ain't trying to make this a Washington talk, but what I'm gonna say here is that let it be Debo and Michael Gallup week 1, whoever the Washington team player, they gonna start off 0-1.
I think the Giants gonna get them boys, man. I think they are.
Okay, they play the Giants week 1.
They play the Giants week 1. I think they're gonna get them. Scary Terry holding out. That's a bad sign. I want to hear that. Y'all say it for the Cowboys. Don't slow up when it comes to these other teams. Don't slow up. That's gonna hold that offense back. Scary Terry not there. Y'all did it when CD was fighting for his contract. Y'all said how CD wasn't a supporter of the team. He was being greedy. Where that's at for Scary Terry? I don't hear nothing. Where's that, chat?
But you know what?
Up,
there was a thing that Mina Kime, she pulled up, and she was like, when players, especially skilled players, hold out all off season, their production value drops 40%. And I was arguing, like when she first said, I'm like, nah, man, but CD Lamb, and then Lamb production, it dropped damn near about 35 to 40% from the previous year on the first waves of games. So if Jaden Daniels, who's going to play a strength of schedule that's a little bit difficult, right?
Oh yeah.
And if
yeah.
Terry,
And
if they don't get, if Terry don't get out there early, and his production value based off of all of the analytics and all of this stuff that Chat GPT done generated for them, hey, all I'm saying is, hey, you know, slow start.
That's bad.
That's bad. For him. But what else you got, man, before I let these other callers on, bro? What else you got, man?
Other than that, man, you know, this Dak talk, man. When Dak Prescott come out here and do what he do, he's being carried. Oh, it took Pickens to get here for him to get right. But all these other guys, y'all don't say that. Burrow's had his 2 wide receivers since he been in the league. Yeah. Come on, man. And to have a record that he did have last year, that's embarrassing, man. That's terrible.
Man.
I want to know, let those 2 receivers get hurt. Let one of them get hurt. Let's see what Burrows do. And Burrows said, I'll take a pay cut to keep my guy here. Why? Because Burrows even know I'm not that good without my guys. Man, if Burrows was that good, he wouldn't have said, I'll take a pay cut to keep him here. Come on, man.
Boy, you making a lot of people mad now, boy. But I appreciate you for calling in, man. It's man. Defense, man. They ain't got nobody on defense, man. Even though a guy getting 18 sacks, even though a guy getting 18 sacks a season, man. You know
that shouldn't matter, man. That shouldn't matter. No law. The defense don't matter. You're supposed to score every time you get the ball, man.
No doubt, man. Appreciate you, man. Yeah.
Let's go Knicks.
Lakers in 9, man. Lakers in 9. I can't stand them damn Knicks, man. Patrick Ewing, and I don't give a dog. I can't stand the Knicks. I can't stand the Celtics. I can't stand a lot of them damn teams. But you know, I can't stand the Heats. But I think that the Pacers may pull it off. And shout out to the Knicks, though, but I think the Pacers are going to pull it off. And I know we got a lot of Knicks fans here, but if anything, if I want to see one person scribble up and move all around, is that Stephen A. Smith. Yes, indeed. I want the Knicks to be an accident waiting to happen just on the strength of Stephen A. Smith. Just to see him, to know that he's a Knicks fan. And I just want them boys, and shout out Jalen Brunson and all of them boys, but I just want the Knicks to lose just because of Stephen A. Smith. For 30 years and 30 seasons, I know that he been laughing at us, so I want to laugh at him. That's what I want to do, man. I don't even watch basketball as much as I used to, but since I know Stephen A. Smith is a Knicks fan, I just want to see him with that long dolphin head bent over like this, like Dr. Q, man, for the 210 UN on the Nation, man. Talk to me.
What's going on, brother? Man,
hey, all is well.
I just have to laugh, man. Hey, 100 grand with speaking facts, man, and you right. Can't stand the Knicks, man.
Yeah.
But man, look, enjoying the topic. Just coming back full circle, brother. I was talking to one of my barbers that cut my hair over here in the Caribbean, because we have Cowboy fans over there, over here too as well. But my issue, man, and I hope they can get this fixed. I was listening to reading some segment about our defensive line being undersized. I know we're going to be facing. I can just name you 5 quick teams that are like girth on their offensive line. That's the right. Eagles, who do I have here? Eagles, Lions, Chargers, Bears, and Packers. I mean, they have a girth of an offensive line, and so I'm hoping we can get Mozzie up to playing what his potential. I know he's going in his 3rd year, what his potential can possibly be. If not, we still have plenty of time to go out there and sign the DT. I think both are important. The defensive backs and the DT are very important. But, man, I would love to have that run stopper first, bro. Would love to have that run stopper first. I hate to say that because they're both important.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think, we have Osa playing at about 280. That's kind of light, man, when you're looking at these offensive lines that are about 320, 325, that's kind of that's a lot of weight to push around. But we still have enough time, man. We still have enough time to go out there and get us somebody, one or two individuals, man, to help this defense. I think the biggest issue that we've had, I always tell you, at least the last 5 or 6 years, is just health, man. Because when our offense is playing well, our defense is struggling. When our defense is playing well, the offense is struggling. And then we haven't had the success with our role players. So these teams that are winning, man, they have fantastic role players. And we just have not had that. When we can't seem to put two things
and
together.
that's what one of the things when we had the Super Friends show. That's where you was trying to lament, but they wasn't understanding it.
Right.
It was remarkable. Like, and I'm not wishing no ill will upon Saquon Barkley. I'm not. What would be the odds of him going 2 seasons in a row healthy though? And I'm not saying that I want Saquon to be hurt, but what would be the odds of you taking a team like they took last year, primarily healthy, right? And I know they got battered and bruised in the postseason, what have you, with the offensive line. They're holding on to thin linemen there. But what would be the odds of that happening again? It would be very slim.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and what would be the odds of the Lions? They had 16 to 17 people hurt.
Oh man, I know. And when you try to tell people this is what's going on, and they don't want to hear that. Man. I listened to your you guys did your show with Bronson and the other guy that represents the Commanders, and I sent a couple messages in, and the first thing was, you know what? One of them said something about, well, you still got to play the game. Well, hell, we know you still got to play the game,
right.
But when your team, you have superstar role players that can go be starters somewhere else easily, that makes a big difference. A lot of people don't want to see that, man. That Milton kid is not a joke. That played with them Eagles last year. Kid, even though he was a backup player, he's not a joke. So we just haven't had the luxury of having that. Who we go get? Hankins, and no shame on Hankins.
Right. Long
he's
too.
Not Milton.
He's
not Milton.
And here's the other thing though. Like last year, okay, when Law was hurt, of course, Nealon got hurt. We had a lot of battered bruises on their front, right? Who's the rotational guy to give Osa a spell last season?
I can't even name him.
Now we got a guy named Solomon Thomas, man. I got him on the screen.
Right.
So he's going to come in. I don't want to be like people thinking that I'm saying he's going to get 7 or 8 sacks, but he's going to come in and give you a little bit more production. Even if he give us 4 sacks, right? That's more than what we had in the last 2 or 3 years of a rotational guy coming in. And I think that a lot of people are not considering that as a factor.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's true, brother. The thing is, the last thing, and I'm gonna go, Lord. The thing is, we've got to learn just to, if we're talking about making hamburgers, right? The team, you can't just have the buns and no meat. You know what I'm saying? Or you can't just have the meat without putting some bread on it. So we just seem to have a hard time trying to put everything together, man.
Mm-hmm.
And so hopefully this is, they can just make us all believers this year. And we still got to trust them because diehard Cowboy fans, we love our Cowboys.
We do.
And hopefully we can get this thing a great push, man. And that's all I have today, Brother Law. I appreciate it, man. It's always a pleasure talking to you guys and listening to some of the Cowboy fans.
Yes, indeed, man. That's good stuff, man. Regardless, like, I'm not taking this away from Burrows. But what I'm getting at with Burrows and Herb, like, not Herbert, but Hurts, who y'all double teaming? Who y'all leaving one-on-ones with the wide receivers? Right? So when we doing comparisons and analysis, you're going to look like the better quarterback. Even though he's coming off of college, he's considered, and a natural thrower of the ball, he is better than Dak Prescott with his releases. I'm not taking that away from him. But he had better weapons. So for us to even try to quantify what Burrows would look with lesser weapons, right? And what one would look like with better. It's just crazy. And then we got to add into the coaching aspect of it too. It's too many layers to it. But if you're telling me that I have an opportunity to throw the ball to Chase and Higgins, and to a degree, I know Boyd, he left last season from them, but give me those options as a quarterback. And we living off of old bodies, talking about Zach Martin. We had 2 rookies on that offensive lineman. Shoot. He had better situations. he had better chances. And if something badly happened over there, nobody's gonna be talking about it on first take, second take, and makeup takes. You know, they ain't gonna be doing that over there. Yeah. So that's just what I'm getting at. You know, Burrows can barely beat out. If we talking about head to head, he can barely beat out Cooper Rush. If that's the case. But it is for what it is. Yeah, I only making some people mad from LSU. I'm only making those people mad. Yeah. Oh my gosh, man. But I got the 240, man. You live on the Nation, brought to you by FrenkelFirm.com. Talk to me, man. Talk to me.
Hello.
What up, man? What's good with you?
My name's Nick. Been listening since you've been breaking down Kellen Moore's play calling about 3-4 years ago, man. So, appreciate what you're doing. I was just calling because I just wanted to. I think you be hinting at a couple things that people don't emphasize. Like, they don't understand how important stuff like that is. Like, I know you were talking about how Jalen Ramsey would help our team.
Yeah.
And not even from just like a skill standpoint. My big thing is, one, when you got a whole bunch of young DBs, one thing we haven't had in a long time was that, with the exception of Stephon Gilmore, that veteran presence to help these guys, show them how to work, you know what I'm saying, give them pointers on what to do on and off the field. But the other thing about Jalen Ramsey that I like, you know what I'm saying, and you kind of hinted at this, his mentality. He's a dog, you know what I'm saying? There's not too many corners that's going to put their nose down and stop the run, make a tackle like Jalen Ramsey does. You know what I'm saying? And I think when our issues have been stopping the run, we need those players with that type of physicality and mentality that would really help our team.
Yeah, I like Ramsey. I don't know what his pricing is going to be. We can sweat him out until June 1st or what have you. Maybe teams will think about considering cutting him to save money. I don't know how the infrastructure is over there in Miami land. But I do know that he shared the same agent with George Pickens, right? I know that David Mulugeta, and as well as sharing the same agent with Micah Parsons. I think that the order of operation before we bring in a new soul on this team, we need to take care of business in-house, and that would be to go ahead and pay Parsons. Pay Parsons, that's going to free up $10 to $15 million. You know where you're going at far as your director or your leader of this defense, which will be Parsons, right? And then you can start working on Bland and start working on outside people to bring in. If not, if I'm going to bring in anybody, it's a free agent like a Stephon Gilmore, or if it's a Jalen Mills, he's out there as well. Rasul Douglas. I'll bring in some veteran guys that I know for sure that's not looking and asking for the world or what have you, just to get us over into Oxnard and training camp, opposed to waiting for, because we got a lot of hurt guys. We got Siobhan Revel, he's coming back he's recovering. Josh Butler, he's recovering. You see what I'm saying? So we got a lot of those things. So I'll bring in a healthy guy, but I'll wait Jalen Ramsey out just a little bit for that price to drop.
Okay. In that same vein, I'm also with you with bringing on somebody like Nick Chubb. You know what I'm saying? He's a free agent. That would be a cheap move for us. Another reason I think he'd be important to our team, as long as to emphasize, even when we had like Tony Pollard, right? One thing that we were struggling with was converting on those short yardage. We need a flip. So, like, I've watched Javonte Williams over the past couple of years. I've had him on multiple fantasy teams. Same thing with Miles Sanders, man. I am hopefully optimistic about what they can do, but even if they were to improve on their performances from last year, I still think that short yardage area could still be an issue. So someone like Nick Chubb, who you have no, you know what I'm saying? There's no real questions about his physicality. He's proven that he can get that sort of thing done, and I think that shores up an area for us as well.
Yeah, I mean, Nick Chubb, he's a free agent. Bringing him in for a cup of coffee, right? His market value is like $3.3 million right now. We can find that in the couch. We got $31 to $32 million. But what I'm thinking that what they're trying to do here is to evaluate who they got, right? They probably overbitten into the – I think if the Cowboys never got Miles Sanders, I think Nick Chubb would be in the silver and blue right now. But by them going and getting two guys that's from the outside, like a Javonte Williams and a Miles Sanders, they want to at least give these guys a situation or a chance to see what they got. Yeah, but like I said, Chubb, Dobbins, both of those boys, I would at least bring them in for a cup of coffee. But the Cowboys want to at least see what they got first before they make that move.
Okay.
But I appreciate you for calling in, man. Thank you, man. Thank you for following the show, bro.
All right. Thank you. Go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys, man. Let me get the 202 and we got probably room to squeeze in one more caller, but let me get the 202 in the building. Big Amish, you live on the Nation, man. Talk to me.
How about them Cowboys, y'all?
How about them, man? Talk to me.
Thanks for the opportunity, Law.
Happy Friday to you, bro. Thank you.
Happy Friday. Mm-hmm. Now the truth doesn't need defending. Right, so we love our quarterback. We're going to roll with Dak this year, and I say that having been, I've been a devoted Dak fan.
Right.
Except for that last postseason play, it caused me a little stomach pain, shall we say? But let me just condition this and say, yeah, he didn't have the help. I mean, that was like a season. That 12-5 season, then and having Green Bay come in and basically, not only destroy our defense, but our offense didn't do anything for three quarters. So that caused a lot of consternation. I'm a little concerned,
right?
Because of he had his injuries, right? So we're going to give him his. We have to create that wall. He needs protecting. He definitely needs that. Right, and give him the tools. Now he's going to have that, right? So I'm just hoping again nothing happens to him, but he can't throw the ball. He can't be doing what he did in the past. That's not going to happen for him to stay healthy. It's just not. Now, could he still throw 30 passes in a different way, like swing passes from the backfield out, adding to 30, keep him in the mid-20s, and increase. 30, depending on what the scheme is. Right. But he's going to have a lot more opportunities to play a more conservative approach, but yet take shots down the field. That's how I see it. But this is the year that he's got to take us to the promised land. He really does, or show us. He has to show us that he's worth that $60 million, because. As the one caller mentioned, when Burrows said, "Look, I'll take less because I need Jamar Chase and the other guy," well, Dak took $60 million, and he didn't ask for any help. So and it's nothing to do with every player deserves as much money as they can get.
Right.
But there would be nothing better for redemption and to show the world, it's us against the world, that Dak Prescott brings us a Super Bowl and that he wins it himself. That's what I would love to see.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That'll calm everyone down.
I mean, yeah. We wait for 30 years for that. Yeah. At the end of the day, when we look at everything and we would say, yeah, that player did lament that he would take less, but he didn't. So that's just how it goes. And the market is the market. And I think that even Chase, he's still getting what, 40 something like that, close to $40 million a year. And then T. Higgins, he tried to take less, but they still was able to get more money out of that. So I don't know. Joe Burrow's career earnings, unbelievable, man. First round draft pick. I think that he came in making money, right? Because he was first round draft pick. Now you're talking about the quarterback for your team. You got to understand that Rico Gathers was making more money. Michael Gallup was making more money. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really try to put the money thing on it, but I can say this though. Yeah, everybody going to want what's value and worth, right? Because at the end of the day, there should be people saying that, hey, Brock Purdy, we should see what his value is now since he got his paper. They should say, hey, the 49ers should win the Super Bowl since they paid Brock Purdy, even though he was Mr. Irrelevant. So I don't know, Big Amish. It's going to be a thing whereas we're going to have to look at this team and say, how can they win with the quarterback that they got since they paid him the money? Well, you win by running the ball. You win by stopping the run. And you win by adding weapons. And they did all of those three things. And if Dak Prescott goes into a postseason and they have him wetting the bed again, then, hey, egg on Dak Prescott's face because he didn't stand tall with it when they have the weapons available for him. And that would be against him if they don't win. You're right. Appreciate you for calling in.
Thank you. How about them Cowboys?
How about them, man? How about them? That's Big Amish, man. Yeah, so if in this situation, right hand to the man, if we go into the postseason and if we got defenses that's stopping the run, DBs that's not allowing the passing of the ball down the field, right? And we are running the ball 4 or 5 yards per toe, right? And we have the ability to get separation and get all of these things. And then Dak Prescott still throw those interceptions, still fumble the ball or whatever it may be, then off with Dak Prescott head, right? But for you guys to sit here and say that we had those things before, that would be ill-advised, right? That would be literally you guys not watching the game. There haven't been a game whereas when we went into the postseason and we ultimately lost that postseason game when we were averaging 4 yards per toe. Matter of fact, I can do you a favor. When we were averaging 3.5 yards per toe, we haven't had those games here in Dallas land and to still lose. It always been when we had the inability to run the ball and we had the inability to play sound and concise defense. And Dak Prescott added the cherry on the top by throwing the ball to the team, the other team, not the same people on the team. So, yeah, we want Super Bowl. It got to be Super Bowl or bust. Yeah. And we got to get these things going. People act like Dak plays like Cooper Rush did last year, shaking my head. I mean, I get it. And then people will have the same breath out of that to say that Cooper Rush is better than Dak. That would be the funniest thing whenever I hear analysts and people say those things. And I just don't understand how can someone put it like this. Because at the end of the day, and I probably can squeeze one more caller in, but I shouldn't do it. I gotta go. I appreciate everybody, man, for y'all tuning in. We would definitely have the phone lines open again tomorrow. And I don't like to put timers on anybody. I want it to be free flowing. But people literally act as if though a quarterback that can throw for 38 touchdowns, maybe 10 to 11. I can pull up, let's say, 2019 season, like numbers, just numbers in general. And people will look at that and say, man, this quarterback is terrible. It just baffles me, man. or when we know the situations, it'll be a different storyline if we had 2021's team, right, for 2022 and 2023. But we know that we are the only team that literally take away from our successful years and don't add to. You know, for example, even though we went 12-5, 12-5, 12-5, even though the record stayed the same, but you had to look into that particular 3 years to see that the production base from the skill set wasn't the same. But people would think that it was the same. Like literally leaving off an Amari Cooper and going into 2022 season with less weapons, right, on the outside, with less running attack on the outside, but with the same expectations to win it all. We are the only fan base that do that. I believe we are the only fan base to do that, because I don't foresee the Eagles, I'm just using them as an example, of them saying, okay, we're going to get rid of Smitty and we want to win. We have the expectation to win the Super Bowl. I don't foresee the Eagles saying, if they were to get rid of Saquon Barkley going into this season and still have the expectations of winning the Super Bowl. I don't foresee. Now, the Chiefs, they did get rid of Tyreek Hill, right? And they did win the Super Bowl ultimately. But did y'all see what they got in return for Tyreek Hill? It's not like, but people will say they got rid of Tyreek Hill and got nothing back in return. Don't y'all know that what we got back in return for Amari Cooper, that dude still haven't started the game almost. I don't think he started the game. Matt, well, let's go, haven't started the game. So even based off of principle, you got rid of a starter for a non-starter to save some money, and with the money that you saved, you put it into a guy that you said that Amari Cooper always will hurt. But keep this in mind, the guy that you paid $50 million to been hurt more than Amari Cooper. It's crazy. We the only fan base that do this, right? We take away talent and have the same expectations of winning. It's just crazy. I can't make this stuff up. It's a terrible trade. And I'm just using Amari Cooper for an example. But we can do this across the board for the last 10 to 15 years. When it's time for our players to leave, we never elevate from that spot from one player to the next. Hey, Law, do you have any, what people would say? These are excuses, Law. But come on, let me be real with y'all. DeMarco Murray, when he left, it's not like that we had Joseph Randall or Randall Joseph, I forgot his name, the man that stole cologne and draws. It wasn't like that off of sure talent that he was better than DeMarco Murray. And we never even introduced to even take a chance of bettering that department. You know, and it's crazy. And the craziest thing of it all is that when people argue that even in 2018 we had the strong offensive line, don't y'all know we had a guy that pretty much went from 305, 315 to my size, 205. And his name is Travis Frederick, man. And we put in Joe, what's that guy named? What his name was, and they call him Fat Zeke. Joe Looney. We put Joe Looney in there, an undrafted guy, I believe. And the expectations was for us to still win the Super Bowl. And we still had Ciafalo and a whole bunch of other things. And it sounds like excuses, but people will still say, man, we had the greatest wall of Dallas. Put it like this. I can't make this stuff up. We had, for the first time, we moved the guy to right tackle who was a guard. Oh, what was his name? What was his name? What was his name from LSU? We moved him to right tackle, right? It was his second year, first year playing right tackle. We had Zach Martin, Joe Looney, and somebody else at, I think, Connor Williams, and Tyron Smith, who was hurt on and off, and had Cam Fleming in there. And the expectations for that team, and Dak Prescott, in his third season, for crying out loud, is for him to beat Sue, Aaron Donald, Oh my God, Michael Brockers, and people will still say, hey, it doesn't matter. He's supposed to win that game against the Rams. I can't. La'el Collins. Yeah, Connor McGovern, Connor Williams. And people will still say, man, the Cowboys have the greatest wall of Dallas. But anybody else with those same set of circumstances and those same set of situations, they would have said, hey, man, that offensive line is kind of wee-woo or kind of wonky, Yeah, man, gosh. La'el Collins was a better guard, right? So it's just crazy. So we fight ourselves, and we'll say, man, that quarterback is whack. He was in his third season. and the expectation was still, we went to the Super Bowl. We supposed to beat the Rams. I can't make this stuff up. And he still, if you look up those numbers in that postseason, I think the guy that caught all of the passes was a damn rookie in that postseason game. Because they were rolling coverages on Amari Cooper. They had to leave. Oh, and that Rams team had to leave. They rolled coverage on, and I think that was Wade Phillips' team. I don't know. I can't remember in 2018. But what they did was they rolled coverage Amari Cooper way, and they gave the rookie Micah Gallup one-on-ones to the outside. I can't make this stuff up, y'all. Oh, my gosh. Any chances of us getting Breece Hall? My only thing is with Breece Hall is that I don't want to make the Jets rich, right? I don't want to trade new asset for hurt asset because Breece Hall, he's been a hurt guy, right? And it will be us kind of like, yeah, Breece Hall may be dynamic here. He may stay healthy, but that's too hell of a risk. It's more of a risk on our side to give the Jets a second rounder or a third round pick for Breece Hall, who's been hurt guy, right? I would rather go get a guy that's free, like a Nick Chubb or a J.K. Dobbins. I wouldn't do that, And granted, will Breece Hall help this team out? Yes. But that cost is very high, Only we understand our struggles. Yeah. But I kid y'all not, the expectations never change. Expectations never change here in Dallas. You got Dave Campo, you still supposed to win the Super Bowl. Chan Gailey, you still supposed to win the Super Bowl. No other organization, no other franchise would do that. Shoot. Wade Phillips, still supposed to win the Super Bowl. Jason Garrett, still supposed to win the Super Bowl. The expectation never moved. Breece Hall is worth a late round pick. Daniel, that I will agree. If we can get Breece Hall for like a fifth or a sixth, then I'll do that. But Breece Hall for a second or a third, come on, Jets, man. Come on, man. Look, that's too much risk on our end. Meet us halfway, Shit, we got rid of Amari Cooper for a fifth. Come on, man. Come on, y'all can take a 6th round draft pick. Yeah. Cowboy Nation, I thank y'all. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Y'all enjoy y'all weekend. Be safe out there. No Memorial Day is a day to reflect, and I know that's on Monday is a government holiday and a national holiday and all of that. But try not to say Happy Memorial Day, y'all. Just know to give respect and the honors to those who fought for this country and put blood on the ground for us to be in these seats, man, so we can speak freely how we do speak over here, And if you are a veteran and if you have loved ones that lost loved ones that fought in wars or beyond, just put a 1 in the chat, and put it like this. At the end of the day, we don't have to fight each other because we disagree with each other, right? Right? That's the whole point. We shouldn't all agree. We shouldn't all agree. We should have our independent opinions. We got Angie who states, shout out to Frenkel and Frenkel. It started with 2 calls, but they gonna get me right. That's what I love to hear. What's going on, Angie? You gotta let me know. Shoot me a message. Are you okay? By the way, I want to make sure you're okay. If you had to call Frenkel, that means you've been in an accident. And we ain't talking about the kind Stephen A. Smith be saying, accident waiting to happen. Yeah. Right. Sean D says some opinion sucks. Yeah, they do. So that's why it's so important to have strong opinions as a content creator, right? Strong opinions about something, but it's just an opinion. Put it like this, ladies and gentlemen. Write this down into your hearts, minds, and sinew. Don't let someone's opinion of you become your reality, right? Don't let someone's opinions of you become your reality. Also, those convinced against their will is of the same opinion still. Have your opinion, but don't have your opinion to have you, right? Those are rudiments to life. And if there's one thing a man should always do, is mainly to himself stay true. Never allow someone to change your point of view unless what they bring makes sense to you. Never judge a man by sight alone, nor by the height he has grown. And when speaking, keep it at a moderate tone. Raised voices only turns hearts into stone. You see, in the beginning, it was how about them Cowboys? The morals of life, live, love, and respect for another. But then there are those who will try to be smart. You see, they would take the decent man to alter his heart, to seek to rip him apart. Those men, you should never call them a friend. Here's the most important part of it. The most important part of it. And I know y'all witnessed this before. They will bend the lies around the truth to meet their end, Cowboy Nation. Jerry Jones said, none of this makes sense to me. Because if it don't make dollars, Jerry, then it don't make what, Jerry?
What's your point? What's your point? Okay, so what?
That Jerry boy, even though I may be a thief with words. Yeah.
Thief! Stop, thief! Come back, thief!
That's just what God bestowed upon me. Yeah, there'll be some times that I will get to a spot and I remind myself, I'm not Moses. He's one of the greats. But man, I said, man, Moses, who was short and stubby, stuttered when he spake. The one that was not qualified. And we got the AI finna speak, but the grand creator was able to do those things.
$5.
Come on with it.
Dr. Q, I want the Cowboys fans to understand that any of the ACL tear team I call them will not be ready until at least late October.
And that's Dr. Q. You know about them ACL tears. You went to school for it. But it's all about the creator making the one that they say unqualified qualified. The one that stutter when he speak properly. He said, hey, I can't speak and lead these folks. He says, just go there. I give you a rhema of messages, meaning that I will speak for you, or I have your brother to speak it. But I come here to tell y'all that regardless of the situation, I too stuttered when I spoke. I too was shy. And now you can't get me to hush because I'm speaking all the time. I know that the grand creator says, Lord, I'm going to give you a message. I'm going to be able to have you to speak to these folks. And through trials and errors, we're here. Even with my Mississippi slango, you know, with Mingo and beyond. T-Jack says, speak softly, carry the big stick. As always, tripod law is that too. Let me quit playing with y'all. But it's all about the determinations of your heart, soul, and sinew. And I say this in departing all the time. Write this down. If you want a thing bad enough to go out there and fight for, to work day and night, to give up your time, your peace, and your sleep, if all of your desires of it makes you quite mad that you don't get tired, and it makes you all hold everything tawdry and cheap, if life itself seems empty and useless without it, and all that you scheme and dream is about it, if you will gladly go out there and sweat for it, fret for it, or plan for it, or lose all terror of your mind, if you would simply, just simply go after the things you want with all of your capacity, Jerry Jones, with strength and sagacity, with faith, hope, and confidence, and stern pertinacity. If neither cold or the poverty or the famish or fame or the sickness of body or brain can turn you away from the things you want, if dogged and grim and besieged and beset with the help of Almighty. Ain't that right, Jerry? You see, Jerry, originally, he wasn't going to buy the Cowboys. He wanted to buy the Chargers. When he was trying to scrape up the few coins that he tried to get, ultimately he didn't have enough money. And he begged and pleaded with his father, and his father told him no. But you got to be hungry. You got to have that mindset. And then all of a sudden, him and his son, Stephen Jones, was on a boat. The story of Jerry. And the news came out that the Cowboys are up for sale in the league, and they are losing about $5 to maybe $6 million a month. And Jerry continued with his heart, soul, and determination. Maybe he had to rob Pete to pay Paul, but he had to find a way to get that loan money, because his vision was to be the owner of these Dallas Cowboys, right? For $140 million, he was able to scrape and get some change together. And now he is worth north of $15 billion. That goes back to your determinations of your heart to not to give up. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best.
What's your point? What's your point?
Jerry.
Okay, so what?
Shit, Jerry. Hey, man, let me get $140 million, man. Let me see what I can do with it. You know, let me know. Let me get a loan, Jerry. Come on with it. Jerry.
Tell him run it on. I wake up. Yeah. I wake up, flex, thumb down now. Check, no drip this.
Tell him run it on.
No sleep.
Hush your mouth over there, Jerry. Give me that $100 million, man.
I wake up, flex, thumb down.
Until next time, baby. Close them doors, y'all. Yeah.
Turn to a savage, now my baby wants to hold me. I love my fans, don't need no friends, I got my homies. Thought I could trust you, I find out you tried to zone me. I'm
Come on.
number one up on that court, I'm Nick McGrady.
Yeah.
First one in, the last one out, can't call me
Can't
lazy.
call law lazy.
Put in my hours, send the invoice and they pay me. I need 6 rings like MJ.
Come on, Cowboy, let's get them 6 rings.
I wake up, flex, thumb down now. Check, no drip.
Jerry said 300% interest rate. If you give me, Jerry, $140 million with 300% interest rate, I'll pay you back. Yeah. Yeah, I'll pay you back. Yeah, I'll pay you back, Jerry. Trust me, I'll pay you back. Yeah, I'll pay you back, man.
Call up Nigeria, come through in a hurry.
Can you imagine? They knocking on the door. Lord, your note, dude. Boy, I keep stretching that note out. Jerry pushing tulips and daisies. By the time I pay that one back. To my name. Law. Nation. Run it up. See, Eric, you in the chat. Let me ask you this, Eric. I wish you were to call in, bro. I wish you would call in. Even though y'all won the Super Bowl, keep this in mind. You on a road to 3, and we on a road to 6. That's a major difference. Major difference. I don't think that most Eagles fans can quantify that. You know, if we on 2 different roads. Before y'all say anything, yeah, it's been 30 years, 30 seasons. Well, you don't know, because that road to 6 is a long one. Yeah, come on with it. But Eric, I got you in your squeeze, man. Look at Eric. That's Eric, man, and him and his lady, man. What you gonna tell her? Don't let the street lights. You know it's dangerous to go alone. Don't let the street lights hit you. Can I be your player too? I follow. Wherever you go, whatever you do. Shout out to you, Angie. Shout out to you, A. Super Chat, Jeff, Marcus, Mitch, Angie. But last but not least, Dr. Quentin. Warner. Remember, the eagles fly below the stars. Don't let the street lights, don't let them hit you. You know it's dangerous to go alone. Don't let the street lights hit you. Can I be your slayer too? I follow. Wherever you go, whatever you do, play up to. If a paper crane can fly, then really doesn't feel that far. So far, so far. If a paper crane can fly.
It's an evil world we live in.
Doesn't feel that far. So far, so far.
And they understand the
if a baby brain can't fly, fly on. You must be out your goddamn mind. Fly on.
Blue Mafia. No doubt, no doubt, no doubt, no doubt.
My turn. Told me it was my turn. It's
Blue Magic. That's a brand name. I stand behind it. I guarantee it. About is when you chop my dope down, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5%, and then you call it Blue Magic.
It ain't the same, huh?
Ain't nobody calling me. And they understand the cost that is involved. There's 1,000 of you. I said close them doors. Ushers, close the doors.
Bro, come on now.
Close the doors. Close the doors. We all gonna leave again. There's 1,000 of you tonight, and those that are watching, it's 1,000 that's watching online. This is a small seed. If I get 1,000 online to give this, I'm challenging each of you all down here to give a $20 seed. But I need everyone standing up here with us, with me, to plant a seed of $100. Because again, it costs to sit. I got you. And this is what I need you to do. If you're giving electronically, or even if you're giving tangibly, are you shitting me? Bring them baskets. I want the baskets up here. I want to see the folk. Y'all start moving. Y'all can bring it right now. Come. Even if you're giving tangibly, just put your hand on the. Take your phone and stick it on the.
Daddy, I like when you
on the bucket. Giving is worship.
Blue Magic.
Giving is worship.
That's a brand name.
Giving is worship. Giving is worship. This ain't the time to talk.
Oh my goodness!
1,000 people need to give $20. 1,000 people need to give $20. 1,000 people online need to give $20. This is easy.
All I ask.
This is an easy miracle. We should be able to raise $40,000 tonight just from y'all giving.
Sacrifice, don't give
That's
up the fight. Everything will be alright on any given Sunday. Yeah, depend on you. If you win or lose, you know you got to pay some dues
to live on Monday.
Yeah.
That's my guy, Uncle Charles. Until next time, peace. And if we offended anyone, charge it to my beard, not my heart. We love y'all. Take care. DC for life. Peace. The next step.